Hi, welcome to my channel. This is a video about shifting into that reality that you want to experience, that by the way is already there for you, faster. Shifting into it faster, but without the expectation of shifting into it faster. That's the key here, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about here, because this is everything I talk about here is what I have done and what's worked for me, and I will talk about what hasn't worked for me, and I will talk about what has worked for me. And this is a very positive video on how you can make this work for you simply by taking a bit of expectation away. So you don't have to have a huge shift in the expectation, but taking a bit away and enjoying the process. Seeing it as something that you're putting into place in order to experience something in the future. What I do want to say is, I do get people say, but if I say I want to experience it in the future, it will always be in the future. No, that has never happened with me. Absolutely never. I just see it as, I don't see it, you can call it future you, or you can just say the version of me that is experiencing this. But you know in your mind, it's probably going to be maybe a week down the track, maybe 2 weeks, 3, maybe a couple of months. It doesn't matter, because if you are just engrossed in the process and enjoying the process and not constantly looking for results, it will happen all the sooner. I've had things show up super, super fast when I've been in that state. So I have had things showing up in a couple of days when I've been in that state, but I've not been expecting it at all, because any amount of expectation at all I have found has been detrimental to me with this. But I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but with me it has been. So I had to take away expectation completely and just thought it might never happen, but I'm going to enjoy this anyway. I'm going to enjoy these visuals, enjoy messing around with it. Why not? I might as well. And that is one of my favourite sayings. You might as well. Why not? You might as well. If you feel resistance, just stop. Resistance is not going to help you. You cannot push through resistance. Just stop and go back to it when you feel better. But I have found taking the expectation away and enjoying it, sort of going, why not try to love it? Why not try to love visualizing? I'm really going to love this. Oh, that felt really good. And after you've done it, that felt so good. I really enjoyed that. I am really creating something here for that version of me that's going to experience that. That's all I'm doing. I'm not looking for instant gratification, because as soon as you bring it back to instant gratification, you will inevitably be disappointed, because it won't happen in that moment. So you'll be like, why didn't it happen? I was detached then, it didn't happen, it should have happened. You drop into the wrong energy and you start dwelling in that, and that is what holds things off. But if you do it for the sake of doing it, for the sake of feeling good, for the sake of enjoyment, that is when things show up faster. Again, I do believe, because I've had things show up in my life that haven't been huge, but that I've really wanted to experience, that have taken a couple of months, where I've thought, that's weird, why did that take a couple of months? But I can go inward and go, I know why, because actually on a subconscious level, I kind of thought, well, this would have to happen, then this, and this, and this. Even though I wasn't outwardly thinking it, when I went inward, I thought, yeah, that was definitely in there, although I wasn't particularly consciously aware of it, but a little bit. So if you want to kind of get rid of those kind of things, you just need to have a word with yourself and say, whatever process is in there that I think would have to happen before I can experience that, please cancel that out. It's not true, it's not relevant. I just want this to happen in the fastest and best way possible, but and then take the expectation away. It's a funny thing, isn't it? It seems a bit contradictory. I kind of really want this and I want it to happen fast, but I need to take away expectation. Yes, it is a practice for sure, and it's definitely been a practice for me, but it has been the only way. With me, whenever I've had expectation, I have really stretched it out and ended up only getting it when I've let go of that expectation. So letting go of expectation is actually completely freeing, really, really freeing. I've got a really sore tongue because when I was on holiday, I bit down on a polo and I bit half my tooth off, which was really, and I've got something going on this week, so I couldn't have it sorted this week, so I'm going to have it sorted the week after. And so I'm going to try and carry on speaking and ignore the discomfort that it's giving me at the moment. Okay. Another thing that I do want to say about effortless manifestation is, I do think that when people watch coaches, and I've probably done the same in the past, you assume that that coach manifests effortlessly, whatever they want, whenever they want. They never have to wait for anything. I can't speak for all coaches, but for me, that's not true. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes I even think, why has that not happened yet? And I have to go deep and think, why has that not happened? And I can usually pull out a reason, but what I have had to do is ditch expectation. I do find it completely freeing, ditching expectation. Some of you may not, but I do, because I think that expectation weighs a little bit heavy on you and it changes your energetic field. It really does. It changes something. And if you're completely free of expectation, but you're putting in these kind of manifestation techniques, this visualization, purely to feel good and purely because you know that that is creating a vibration, that is creating a frequency that's going out there and is going to show back to you at some point, but taking away the expectation of it definitely happening. I know that's a massive contradiction. I know a lot of stuff I say is contradictory because I'm saying do this to get this and then don't expect it. I get that that is contradictory, but there are no rules here. So if that expectation gives you an element of anxiety or an element of resistance, then just don't have it. Go, this is probably never going to happen. I thought that as well. It's probably never going to happen. And it still happens. So none of that matters. So you don't have to worry about that being a problem, because it isn't. I really find that expectation, for me, has been a bit more of a negative thing, because it's not the same as... Expectation is not the same as knowing something is going to happen. It's not the same thing. Knowing something's going to happen, that's awesome. Sometimes I have that and I have it in a very fleeting moment and I think, God, that is going to happen. Then it leaves me and I think, should I try and evoke that again? I think, no, it's happened. You don't need it again. Just leave it alone. I have to leave things alone. But expectation is not the same as that. And again, people will disagree with me and that's absolutely fine. I can only give you my own experiences and talk to you from my experience. So my experience is this: what's in here is out there, but out there doesn't exist. Out there is not a thing. There's not an in there and out there. There's just a one big whole thing. And it's one system working together. So your subconscious is working with reality in order to show you pictures, what we would call the 3D on the outside of what's going on inside. But actually, there's not really a 4D and a 3D. It's just one system working together. I saw something that a client of mine sent me the other day, which I found really fascinating. And it was just somebody on TikTok saying that what if we are the artificial intelligence? What if we are artificial intelligence? We would never know, would we? And I really liked that kind of idea. And I thought, again, that's a bit of a curveball in this. I just thought about it in the moment as I was saying it. And I did really like the thought of that. Doesn't freak me out at all. Not at all. I like it. Guys, just always bring it back to this. It's frequency. It's vibration, which causes a frequency, which is what is going to show to you. So if your frequency is not in line with what you want, and often it isn't, often it's the opposite. We are feeling the opposite. We don't get what we want, we get what we feel. If that is the case, and you really feel like you can't tap into the feeling of what it is that you want, just work at distraction. So you're looking at detachment over getting that feeling, because detachment is perfect. I love detachment. Detachment is freeing too. And if you're in that state, that's when it shows up. So you don't have to be vibrating the actual thing, because you've already done that when you desired it. You don't have to keep doing that. But if you are detached and you're not constantly dwelling in the 3D as it is now without this thing in it, then that is all that you need. We don't need to make this such hard work. It's not supposed to be hard work. The key takeaway from this is, you have to be in flow. You cannot manifest when you're pushing against the current, because that's just not how it works. Because you can imagine you're not getting anywhere. You might get little bits of it. You have to be like flowing, like a stream of water flowing, and then there's a big rock in the middle of it and the water just flows out around it, doesn't it? And it just carries on going. That's what you need to be. So what you would consider might be obstacles, don't see them as obstacles. Nothing is an obstacle, because reality will just flow around it. It won't matter. What you won't see your circumstances as obstacles. They're not, because they're not your circumstances, first off, and reality will just flow around them. Flow around them and just keep going. So please don't worry about that. We need to stop worrying so much, stop concerning ourselves about what might happen or what might not happen. Live life as it is now, and with the enjoyment of the manifesting, enjoying it. If it's a chore, it's not going to produce any sustainable results. But if you're doing it for the fun of it, without expectation, you will get results.